Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. We're looking at the full moon in Aquarius today, and it will be at 1 degree 26 minutes, occurring at 10:37 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's take a look at the forecast that I've written. We have such an interesting mix of energy today, but anyway, let's read through. Full moon in Aquarius, Friday, July 23rd, arrives late in the evening after building in intensity all day, while it transits through the last degrees of Capricorn, joining transformative Pluto in Capricorn, before leaving the serious and structured Earth sign to reach its fullness at the beginning of a genius but unpredictable and change-oriented air sign. Pluto is the planet which rules Scorpio and the 8th house of sex, death, metaphysics, investments, and inheritances, ways in which we merge boundaries and share values and assets. Capricorn rules the 10th house of career, authority, and reputation. Aquarius rules the 11th house of friends, groups, organizations, fame, technology, and the future of society as a whole. The Moon, Pluto, Capricorn, Aquarius energy of transformation and change opposes first Mercury in Need and Feed Cancer, then the Sun in dramatic Leo, and also forms a quincunx to both heroic Mars in Leo, then Venus in service-minded and discerning Virgo, as well as a sextile to idealistic Neptune in visionary Pisces, bringing all the elements of air, earth, water, and fire into play. On both a personal and global level, some issues are extreme and extremely stressful. It is time to take action toward purposeful change, not just to be a radical to be shocking, but to make radical healing a personal and societal goal. It will require ingenuity, inspiration, creativity, courage, compassion, and a commitment to being of service to the planet and future generations. The Sabian symbol for this lunation is a sudden thunderstorm, the need to develop the inner security which will enable us to meet unexpected crises. We never know what power and genius we have within us until we are called upon to use it. So let's take a look at the planets. And one thing I did not mention, which I will mention now, is the configuration we have right here that really involves you individually, well, all of us as individuals. And it's like, well, what am I going to do about it? Shit's hitting the fan. I don't know what to do. How's this going to impact my future? And you do have the power to make decisions and choose a path that is going to impact, your future. And also, I think we have to move forward and consider what our actions will be in terms of the bigger picture. For instance, let's say you're thinking of buying a new vehicle, and do you want to buy a gasoline-powered vehicle? Do you want to buy something that's going to be electric? Basically, the future's important right now, and I feel like the Earth is acting up to tell us that. And we have to start doing some things differently. And you can do things differently on a small level. You may also decide that it's time for you to become more outspoken. We have Mercury making this opposition here to Pluto and the Moon. Maybe you feel as though something personal in your life is now threatened. And it's time to get serious. Sometimes we don't really take things seriously until something happens. For instance, maybe you don't care about COVID until somebody you love has it or dies. So it's a wake-up call. We're having a wake-up call right now. And it does come down to your decision to be a caretaker of both yourself and your life, and think about your role in society and how you can make choices that improve the future, whether you have children or not. The aspects that Chiron in Aries is making to Saturn and to the North Node in Gemini indicates that you may be looking at two paths. You may be thinking that, well, I I don't want to be doing what I'm doing forever. What other options are there? And once you start asking the questions, the answers start to come. So I do think that there is some deep seeking going on, particularly with Jupiter right now at 0 degrees of Pisces. It is retrograding, and it will be going back into Aquarius very soon. On the 29th, it returns to Aquarius, and right now we have Venus recently entered Virgo, which is very discerning. It observes, it discerns, it then eliminates, it prioritizes, eliminates, it utilizes. It looks at what needs to be done and looks at the resources, the tools, the information available, and usually seeks some sort of clarity. Neptune energy, the Pisces energy, and Jupiter, very idealistic. And once this moves back into Aquarius, if you've been reluctant about changes, maybe you're going to get a redo and rethink things that do need to be changed. And now you may have a more practical view of things. It may be that it's overdue, or the time for procrastination on something is over. We still have these two planets loosely conjunct, and Mars will eventually enter Virgo as well. We still have the Sun in Leo. It's just started out in Leo. In the last 2 days, we've had some shifting of energy, and things may feel a bit different because of that. We've had the Sun move out of Cancer into Leo, and we've had Venus move out of Leo into Virgo right before a full moon. And it is rather an intense full moon because of its conjunction to Pluto. And then later on, it's probably late, early in the morning, the wee hours, it draws closer to Saturn. I've seen some astrologers saying, oh, this full moon is conjunct Saturn. Technically, no, not really. It's an applying aspect. It's approaching, but it's carrying more of that Plutonian energy with it as it reaches its fullness, and then it will be facing Saturn and applying to Saturn. I think this is just more of a tap on the shoulder, like, look, shit's hitting the fan somewhere, whether it's globally or in your life personally, and now you really need to do something. You're at the point where it has to be done. And then as the moon approaches Saturn, which is a planet about form, structure, the program, how are we going to do this, putting down the foundations, doing the work of something, and it is in future-oriented Aquarius. This is also a retrograde planet. You may be going back to things that you thought you were going to do before and you didn't. Well, now it may be time to actually do it. So take a look at things in your life that you have been procrastinating about, or any area in your life where it's just become too uncomfortable. There's a lot of discomfort potentially with these oppositions here with Pluto. And I would say the taking off of the illusion, the blinders, now it's not just all a story, now it's becoming real as we move into the Virgo energy. And we have Mercury in a very nice trine to Neptune, but you're not going to be able to change the situation through faith or prayer or, incantations or affirmations alone. Definitely it helps to choose to elevate your energy, as we have Neptune, which is highly spiritual and can play the role of victim, savior, martyr, and can sometimes bring miracles into your life. It definitely helps to raise your energy and vibration deliberately and to watch your thoughts, but suppressing negativity also does not work. We also have to embrace that shadow side, and I feel like that sextile between Pluto and Neptune is also underlining that idea that, we can't just, say, oh, the dark doesn't exist, or my negative thoughts don't exist. We have to examine them. We have to accept and own our negativity and those dark thoughts or feelings, and then choose a different thought or a different way of being. And that is something that both the sextile between Neptune and Pluto and the trine between Neptune and Mercury can help you with. Wherever we pay attention grows. Whatever we give attention to will grow. So you would want to look at what you are growing in your consciousness and awareness, but you can not suppress things either and not acknowledge them, because then eventually you're going to have that lava bubble up and overflow, and that opposition will show you where that might occur. And of course, if you know your own natal chart and you know where these signs are in what houses in your chart wheel, you can then take a look at where these transits are going through in your own natal chart. That will show you what areas of life are being activated. But in general, we have that moon-sun opposition going on between Leo, and Leo rules the 5th house: romance, dating, creativity, children, hobbies, competitive sports, gambling. This is where we play, this is where we create. And the 11th house can be the stage, the gallery, the audience, the internet, larger groups and organizations. Also, very often we want to create something in the 5th, or we want to enjoy something. We're seeking a personal quest. And in the 11th house, traditionally it's viewed as the house of wish fulfillment. Very often the types of organizations that help us fulfill our wishes can be financially oriented. If you dream of owning a house and you apply for a mortgage, then the lending institution that gives you that mortgage is helping you fulfill the wish. So that 11th house can also be where we see our dreams realized, our wishes fulfilled, but it takes other people to do that. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. And that is one thing that I think the full moon is really going to show everybody now, is the interconnectedness between everyone, particularly as we have a very extreme summer. Each summer seems to become more extreme in terms of fires. The last 3 days we've had terrible haze. It's because of the fires going on in the United States. So I'm not next to any fire. I'm many miles away from it, but our air quality is impacted. There are parts of the earth right now that are experiencing temperatures that are record-breaking consistently, and more records are being broken. So there are things to be thinking about on a global level, on a personal level. If you are thinking about bringing anything forward creatively, then it is a good time to do it. And you may find your tribe, the people that will support you in expressing your creativity. It may be time to take yourself seriously in your creative endeavors and put it out there in the world. It may also be time for some people to take a step in relationship where they go from either friends to more than friends and become more committed, or perhaps if they've been in a relationship and it's now it's reached a point where it's going through a transformation, maybe it is time to look at it realistically and step back into friendship and change the dynamics of the relationship. So those are my thoughts on what's going on here. And of course, the planet of change, Uranus, rules Aquarius, and we do have a square that's going to be activated, as I mentioned, probably in the earlier hours. Let's see when we have that conjunction occurring. So it's going to be tomorrow, where we have the Moon and Saturn joining 1:37 p.m. approximately, and that will bring this square forward, and it may place more emphasis also on the North Node and Chiron. Now you may follow through whatever's coming up for you at the full moon now. Today, of course, I usually recommend that people sit out a new moon or a full moon because it is emotionally extreme. It's better to go inside yourself and feel things out than to make impulsive decisions and take impulsive actions. And usually once the full moon, breaks and the moon moves forward, some of that tension's released, and it is time to use the full moon energy and focus on those areas of life. So this configuration here will become more active tomorrow, and you may know what it is that you need to do and which path to take, both for yourself and how you fit into society as a whole, or with your friends. Maybe some people will actually break away from friendships or groups of people that they no longer feel they identify with. So look at where your allegiances lie and how you identify, who you support, who supports you as you come out of this full moon and have moon joining Saturn tomorrow on the 24th. So let's take a look at the Sabian symbol. And we round up to 2 degrees. An unexpected thunderstorm. Keynote: the need to develop the inner security which will enable us to meet unexpected crises. An interesting connection can be made between the symbols for Taurus 1 and 2 degrees, a clear mountain stream, and an electrical storm, and those for Aquarius 1 and 2, 270 degrees apart, a waning square in terms of a cycle of relationships such as the lunation cycle. In the first case, we deal with energies or activities that can be related to the natural development of the individual. But here we are primarily concerned with social collective processes and the function of the individual within them. The symbol itself, an unexpected thunderstorm, could be given a very positive meaning in an arid environment, but the emphasis on unexpected tends to accent the sudden and dangerous character of the event. Such a thunderstorm in a region of dry hills can cause a devastating flood. At any rate, it refers to an event for which one is not prepared, a menace to men's works. Seen as a second stage symbol, thus in contrast to the preceding one, this scene stresses the fact that nature may reduce to impermanence the seemingly most permanent endeavors and constructive activities of men. Under a downpour of rain, adobe brick can return to mud. All human institutions and their achievements can be washed away, even in their day of great glory. Dust you were, dust you must become. This is nature's challenge. Well, pretty much is saying what I am feeling right now, and maybe because this full moon is exactly conjunct my own sun, I'm feeling it more intensely, so I'm sitting more on the shadow side of things. I also have my sun in my 8th house, so I might be feeling it more intensely than you are, but pay attention to what's going on in the world. Use your voice, use your mind, and speak out, make a difference, make a change, even if it's something very small. Anywhere that you can think about your future as you connect to the world, not just, me, and what are you going to get, but the Virgo energy we have going on now as we're approaching the Virgo season, and Venus is out ahead of the Sun and Mercury in Virgo right now. We have to look at the service, where we are of service to others, or where we are of service to the planet, so that everybody's needs can get met. All right, you take care, be safe, and I will talk to you at the next lunation, which I believe is August the 8th. And I may be a little bit late with that because I will be in transit that day.